They couldn't even look me in the eye when they told me. My dad just slid the papers across the table like it was some business deal, his voice flat and rehearsed. It's done. The house belongs to your brother now. It's his wedding gift. My mom sat beside him, nodding along like the assistant to an executioner. My brother stood in the doorway, smug and bloated with entitlement, holding his fiancée's hand. And me? I didn't scream, I didn't argue. I simply pushed the papers back across the table and said one word: congratulations. Then I walked away. I had worked 10 years for that house, skipped vacations, bought secondhand furniture, saved every penny with the dream of having a front door that was mine. But when it came time to buy, my parents insisted, put it under our name, it's safer this way. Tax benefits, legal reasons. And I believed them. Because children are trained to trust, and because love makes you blind, I signed, trusting blood over paper. That's the cruelest part of betrayal. It isn't just the act that breaks you, it's the echo of every memory before it. Every dinner table smile, every bedtime story, every moment you thought was unconditional. The call started 6 months later. At first, I let the phone ring. By then, the house wasn't mine. By then, I was nothing but a ghost. But the voicemails piled up like wreckage after a storm. Your brother's struggling with the mortgage. We need your help. Just until he gets back on his feet. Don't be selfish. He's family. Family? That word had already been hollowed out the day they handed my life to him. Still, I listened. Quiet. Patient. And I began to plan. Revenge isn't rage. Revenge is math. So I started gathering information. County records, property filings, bank liens. What I found wasn't just trouble. It was disaster. My brother was drowning. He'd refinanced twice in 6 months, bleeding money to impress his new wife, throwing parties in my living room, parking leased cars in my driveway. The house, the one I'd built brick by brick, was days away from foreclosure. That's when I moved. I hired a real lawyer this time, not the legal reasons my parents had once whispered. We laid everything out. The purchase, the transfer, the mountain of debt. The truth was clear. My brother had no equity. My parents had handed him a ticking time bomb. And me? I still had money. My years of saving hadn't vanished when they stole the house. I still had discipline, control, patience. I let the foreclosure process crawl forward. Every notice, every warning, every final demand. I waited until the bank had its claws halfway in before I stepped out of the shadows. The auction was small, quiet. My brother didn't even show, too busy convincing his wife that the declined credit cards were temporary. I walked into that room and bought my house back for less than I'd paid the first time. Clean, legal, untouchable. And then I waited. I waited for the perfect moment to tell them. The call came on a Sunday. My mother's voice shook this time, no longer commanding. They're taking the house. You have to help your brother, please. I told her I'd come over. That night, I pulled into the driveway. My driveway. My porch light glowed like a beacon. My brother opened the door, pale and frantic. My parents sat at the kitchen table, the same table where they'd once stripped me of everything. I bought it, I said flatly. They just stared, confused. The bank auction. It's mine again. My brother's face twisted, first with rage, then disbelief. My mother's eyes filled, not with guilt, but with fear. My father finally whispered, "You planned this?" I leaned against the doorframe, letting the silence choke the room. "I didn't fight when you stole it. I walked away, but this house was never yours to give." My brother tried shouting, bargaining, even threatening, but it was useless. His debts were his alone. His name carried no weight anymore. Legally, he had 30 days to leave. I gave him 10. Watching him pack boxes in my living room was the sweetest justice I'd ever known. My parents hovered like shadows, deflated, forced to choose between their golden boy and the child they had betrayed. In the end, they chose silence, just like I once had. The day they left, I stood in the doorway. My brother shoved past me, muttering curses he didn't have the guts to say to my face. My parents followed, smaller somehow, older. At the end of the driveway, my mom turned back. "You didn't have to do this," she whispered. I met her eyes and said the truth. "You taught me how." Now I live in the house again. My furniture, my keys, my walls, but it feels different, quieter. The air is heavy with everything that was lost, yet clean with everything I reclaimed. People ask me if I regret it, if I wish things had gone another way. No, because betrayal is a wound. But revenge? Revenge is the scar that proves you healed yourself. And every time I turn the key in my own lock, I remember the lesson they carved into me. Blood doesn't make family, loyalty does. And my loyalty belongs only to myself now.